Good day. This is Kathy, Vivian, Fabian speaking to you from the Rose Studio, the Art Fabian Company headquarters. This is going to be a web book reading, number B51/2, the first of two books. So I had a problem. I had received from my parents' estate a series of artworks that, including a bunch of sketchbooks and numerous amounts of sketch pads. The problem was I had to, within a certain time, go through the work, I was told, and get rid of all the things that were superfluous, like empty pages and unfinished or irrelevant artwork. I also was told to get rid of any folded corners and clean up art if it was dirty in any way. So that involved going through quite a lot of artwork, many books, although just a fraction of the work that I had done, which most of it is missing. I believe it's in the hands of benevolent others, and the estate is divided into four. My particular artwork, but I'm not sure. Anyways, so I had a big job. The first thing I did was tackle the large books and put the smaller books like this one, which is I think a 9x12. Let me see. I think about this is an 8.5 by 11 sketch pad, into storage within my space, and tackle the big works first. So it took a long time to amass things. One of them, there's always a significant lack of finance. So it took a while to amass big enough to clean up the work. And originally what I did was secure the works in the tops, the back and front of the sketch pads that were in good condition, and tie it up with masking tape. As I looked at it throughout the years, I had many things to do vis-a-vis my finances. Finally, I was looking at it and I said, it doesn't look good. I have the ability and the time, since I stopped financial work on the gallery, the Sunshine Corridor Gallery, which is where I've had several exhibitions, to take that money and use it to start properly placing my sketch pads. Again, there's always the question of time and money constraints. So I did what I mostly did was go for the larger works, which are usually the more expensive ones, and put works at this size into storage. So I've been working a couple of years on the larger ones, and finally I was looking through my archives, and much to my horror, I found that the beginning of some of the sketch pads were beginning to fray, evaporate. And this is understandable, since they're from the 1980s around. Which, if I signed and dated these, when I signed and dated these, this is when I got a chance to start looking at them, which they say here, 2016. But the actual works were created a long time ago, when I was going to around the cultural scene. And these are works. These are usually people that I'm waiting in line. I would go around. At the time, there was a very vibrant library system with many free artistic shows, theater, a lot of circus theater actually, designed for children. So and also Place des Arts, and with the less expensive events were planned on a first come first served basis. So I took advantage of the time to take sketch pads like these and film the people around as I was waiting for the show. Since often, like I said, the communities were all over the island of Montreal, I sometimes didn't know how long it would be before I got there. So often I would arrive about just when the library opened. So I would take my time and sketch people around there. sometimes I would, as you see here, get involved in fantasy. So this particular sketch pad I'd been working on cleaning up, and I had dated it, and I have all the sketches here have a title, the drawings have a title. And then I put them away in the archives for a couple of years, until now, 2020, and then I noticed they were fraying, and I realized it became imperative to start work on these. The question there was a lot of these. I think this is a sketch pad of 100 pages, and it's all filled. We're actually going to get to book 2, B5 book 2. And one of the problems I encountered was, first of all, lack of funds. I was looking for portfolios so that I could turn the pages with ease. And I needed some that had separators that could come out if I had a page or two that had something on both sides. I preferred archival quality, and for that reason I went to the art supplies store to pick up these books, which were about $15 each, which was quite a sum if I had to pick up quite a number of them, over 20 of different sizes. So luckily for me, this holiday season, the dollar stores had some pretty good portfolios, although I had to fill in the dividers myself, which is why you see there in red paper and sometimes pink paper in the back, depending on what I got. But this is a little smaller than the sketches here. I think are more of an 8x10 variety, and they're a little smaller than the 8.5 or 11 pages here, which they fit in quite nicely. The work involved, first of all, is to get a sufficient paper to separate the works of art, so they would not somehow get damaged from each other as well. So I'm very proud. It took a while as I'm telling you this, you could see that it took a while for things to develop for finally this particular sketch pad, which I split into 2 books, to actually be put together. And it's done. I'm very proud of the results. I see it's certainly well worth saving. I'm very happy that the thing was kept so well. It was actually in my parents' house in a wine cellar, and that's probably good for paper, and that's why the paper and the sketches are in such good quality and were good condition, and were when I received them about 2015 or thereabouts. As you see here, I was first starting with complete drawings from the people that were done specifically using the people that I met as subjects, and then I would take it into my world of fantasy and just simply draw a cappella the faces and expressions that I encountered along the way on my merry journey. And I was told that if I had the money or the funds, you could actually reconstruct my actual drawings here, which are just from my heart. Not this one, like this one, and you would actually find the person that was based on, as well as the real sketches like here. You could. There is a technique to do it. But that remains in the future. I think these works in itself on the paper, and the fact that I was using a simple combination of ballpoint and felt pen and pencil are surprisingly delicate and sophisticated in many instances. And I think that, oh no, I missed a couple of pages. So I don't think that there's a need to really technically to transplant the actual works onto a better quality paper vis-a-vis the final result and the quality of it, which at times are strikingly beautiful. Having said that, it certainly would be interesting to work with these humble materials, and if I had the backing to get the sketches done a cappella, actually the way they are, in finer materials, using a very good quality ink and on a fine quality paper. I would also like to take perhaps if finances permitting and business opportunity permitting, capital being insured, to talk to an expert about sizing, because I do not see why they necessarily have to stay the same size. That's an exciting project for the future. Meanwhile, this has been in my my actual files for a couple of months. It's just finished, and I realized today, as I'm doing filing and organizing, that I have a little bit too much things in that, so it's going to go back into the archives, all properly done now, and I think it'll be quite secure for a while at least. This is Kathy Vivian Fabian, KV Fabian, speaking to you from the headquarters of the Art Fabian Company. Have an excellent day, and I hope you enjoyed my little whip book reading. Speak to you soon.